Morning. Welcome back. Monday. How's everyone doing? Is live stream working right now? Type in the chat if you guys are there. I'm sort of thinking it's not working right now. I think it's working. Looks like it's delayed or something, but all right. I think we're good. On my end, it's all messed up, but I guess we'll get started. I think it's working. On my end, it looks like this. An error occurred. Please try again later. It also looks like I'm not getting the chat messages. Or maybe they're just delayed for me. All right, let's get started. I think we're here. Working? All right. Yeah, I don't know. Something's weird on my end, but I think we're all right. All right, now I'm getting some messages. All right, welcome back, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good morning. Yeah, a little weird. I don't know what the hell happened there. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Yeah, slow. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's on YouTube's end today. Hope everyone had a good weekend, had some fun. Now we're back to the action, back to the market action. Very key levels this morning to be watching out for on the ES NASDAQ. Very key 4,000 on the very key 4,000 on the ES, and then this key 12,075, 12,100 on the NASDAQ. So some key stuff to be watching and some key levels to be paying attention to. So it should be pretty nice. I mean, there's some very key levels to play off of, and it makes the day a little bit more. We can sort of build a formula, build an idea around these levels. So that is good to see. Yeah, I took XLE. I'll go over it. I took an XOM trade last week into this week. We'll go over that. So here we go. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Welcome back once again if you're coming in now. Today is the 27th. Economic earnings calendar. Let's pull that up first. So we do have a new earnings calendar, obviously, for this week. I'm not sure what's going on with the stream, but hopefully we can get through it here today. So today, durable goods orders, core orders, nothing really. I don't think this is really going to be really affecting the market much here today. So nothing really on the economic side today. Pending home sales at 10 a.m. could be a watch. That's something obviously for real estate to keep an eye out for, but nothing major here to start the week. U.S. trade balance, U.S. or advanced retail inventories, advanced wholesale inventories. Nothing crazy there on Tuesday either to affect the market in any major way. Nothing really here. Fed presidents, ISM manufacturing, construction spending, and we got jobless claims on Thursday. So a pretty light economic calendar this week. If we go into next week, pretty light next week as well. ADP employment, jobless claims, pretty much the normal stuff. So next 2 weeks, not bad on the economic side. Nothing major, no FOMC minutes, no CPIs, no PPIs, nothing crazy influential. But we'll keep an eye on this. But right now, nothing too major on the economic calendar this week. Let's go ahead and pull up the earnings calendar. Well, there is some interesting earnings calendar, some earnings names this week to watch out for. So that's going to be interesting to see. I'll go ahead and zoom in on this. There's some decent names here this week. So today, after close, Oxy, Zoom, nothing I'm going to trade, but Occidental, I think is how they call it. What is it? How do you pronounce that? Occidental? Something like that. That's today. Then we got Zoom. Tomorrow morning, Norwegian Cruise Lines, Target, Advanced Auto Parts, nothing crazy there. Target could be interesting for the retailers. Rivian, AMC, Novavax. And then Wednesday, NEO, Wendy's, Lowe's, Dollar Tree. Lowe's could be interesting for Home Depot, of course. That's something to watch out for. Salesforce, CRM, Snowflake, some interesting ones. Snowflakes is definitely something to watch out for. Best Buy, Kroger, Macy's, Costco. Definitely going to watch Costco here. So Target, Costco could be accidental. It's an accidental petroleum. Target, Costco could be influential for the whole retail sector this week. So that's something to watch out for. C3.ai. I know that stock's been hot lately. See what happens on earnings there. And that's about it. So biggest takeaway for me on the earnings side is probably retail. You got Target, you got Lowe's, you got Best Buy, Macy's, all these smaller retails, Burlington, Kohl's, Big Lots, and then Costco. So pretty big week for the retail sector here on the earnings side of things. All right. So that's that. Let's jump into some of the things that I want to point out today. One of them is Tesla. Tesla has been a very, very resilient name here around this 197 zone, 197, 190 zone. This demand just continues to hold, something I want to point out today. NVIDIA 230 retest. This was the most perfect break and retest that you could have seen. Friday, it held pretty much the entire day. I was very close to taking some upside on Friday on NVIDIA. I decided against it in light of being a smart money manager, having risk management. So I decided against it. A little regretful on that end, but this was a fantastic break and retest. Looks really good, so definitely watch this today. I think Netflix, a possible pullback opportunity that I'll point out today. Meta 170, Amazon 93 level, XOM and XLE will go over. I'm in an XOM swing trade. I'll talk about that. And then Microsoft 250 demand. All these levels I want to be paying attention to today, and I want to point them out for us to see and potentially take trades off today. So let's do it. Let's start out with the futures. As always, let's start out with the NASDAQ. So if we go to the hourly chart, right, last week, we were very focused on, let's go to the 30-minute actually, and zoom into just the shorter term price action. Last week, we were very focused on this demand from Wednesday of last week, right around here. We had these lows all up in this zone. I'm sort of marking out this 1275 to 12100 area. It's a little bit of where these candles are. You could sort of keep your eye on the exact lows, which is around this 1231. You can see right here, we are trading above that today. So that could be a possible little small demand zone to watch out for here today. Down at this low from Wednesday, low from Thursday, little rejection from Friday. You can see the Friday rejections that came in, and we are trading above that today. So you probably don't want to short today into that low, right? You really don't want to go short into this low from Wednesday, Thursday, and this high from Friday. So I would watch this zone around this 1220 to 1230. But on the flip side, this 1275 to 12100 previous support from Wednesday looks like it's turning into a rejection point today. And if I zoom out on the 4 hour, right, that's not just that, like this is more than just that previous low. So if I extend this to the left and I extend this to the left, this 12100, you guys can see if I zoom over to this 4 hour chart, right, this 1275 to 12100 zone that I have marked out, which is right here, this little 25-point zone, is a previous triple top on the NASDAQ. So you can see right here, you have 12,075, 12100, 12,075, 12100, and 1275, 12100 on the NASDAQ. And if we go into the 30-minute chart again, you can see that that zone sort of comes in right where we are this morning, right? Right where we're rejecting this morning, pretty much perfectly, right at that 1275. So I think this is an important zone to watch out for. I don't think I would want to be long in this zone, right? I'd probably only want to be long if I see the market try to maintain like this 12.1 for a potential upside. I don't want to go long into this 12,075, 12,100 level. This is a previous low from this Wednesday, but more importantly, it's a previous triple top from back here in November, December, and mid-December, right? You can clearly see it over here, and it is moving all the way to where we are today, right? Where we're trading today. So definitely watching that. I'm going to go ahead and pop on the 200 SMA because that is exactly where we held on both the NASDAQ and the ES on Friday of last week. So I'm going to zoom back in here on the 30-minute. And you guys can see that 200 SMA right here, this red line down here. You might not be able to see it, but this is a red line, this little red dotted line on the bottom. That is the exact level that we held on Friday of last week. So for a real downside move, for a real bearish move to continue, obviously, it's going to be all about this 200 SMA, right? If you do move back to the downside, let's say you have a rejection off this Wednesday low in that 12,075 level, right? And you do get this fade back to the 200, sure, this could be a nice short-term shorting opportunity here, but you have to be aware of the 200 SMA, right? We can't get too aggressive shorting at this 200 SMA. On Friday, it showed to us how strong it was, right? It was very strong on Friday, and the ES, you'll see the same thing, a very strong 200 SMA demand. So watch out for this demand down here around 11,950. This is major down here. A break of this, I think, is what really triggers the downside. For now, it's just these short-term opportunities. So to recap sort of my mindset today, I am watching a few things. I'm going to have to go. Let me go to the 15-minute, actually. This might be an easier way to look at it. Here's how I'm planning my day here. I'm not going to go short unless we are back below Friday's highs. Friday's highs is around this 12,030, 12,015, right? You can see those wick rejections from Friday, and this is also Wednesday and Thursday's lows. So I don't want to short into this zone, right? I don't want to go short into Wednesday, Thursday's lows and Friday's highs, because that is possibly where the market could pull back and find a new support level at, right? So I don't want to short into that. So that's the first thing I'm being cautious of. If we get back below Friday's highs, then I can look for a short opportunity. If we get back below Friday's highs, then I can look for that short into the 200. That would be something to pay attention to. To the upside, I don't want to go long into that 12,075, that 12,100 triple top, right? And it's also all this congestion from Wednesday of last week, right? Previous low here, all this Wednesday congestion, right? Also this little congestion here on Friday. I don't want to go long into this red zone either. So this little area here, this little zone that we're currently trading in, it's pretty much a no trade zone for me, right? I want to see a move outside of this. I want to see either a hold above this zone today for an upside move into like the 12.2, or I want to see a break back under Friday's highs for a move back into the 200 SMA. Ideally, I want to see one of these moves to set up a nice, continuation trade. I don't really want to get involved in playing in a 50-point range on the NASDAQ, right? Right in this zone right here. This 50-point range right here, not that interested because we have to watch out for both sides. So that's really my mindset so far today. These are my zones that I have set up today and how I want to trade off them. I have this 12,075, 12,100 level. I have this 1220, 1230 previous low and previous high zone, and I'm looking for a move outside of this zone. All right, so that's sort of my mindset today. And then on the in the background, right? The background thought process is the 200 SMA, right? Does the 200 SMA show, a significant hold? That's something that will be in the back of my head, right? You have this previous high here, previous low here, and that's that 200 SMA. This is pretty much the exact level that I talked about all last week for us to pull back to, right? A 200 SMA retest. So keep an eye on that 200 SMA. All right, so on the ES, it's pretty much the same thing. On the ES, we talked about how we wanted to see, right, all last week, we wanted to see the ES move back to 39.50, and that is pretty much exactly what we got. So I'm very happy with, the pullback that we got. It was pretty much perfect. Perfect pullback, right to the 200, right to the previous demand, right to the 200, right to the uptrend, right? This was the three confluences that we talked about on, I think we talked about this on Tuesday of last week. We said how that we have three confluences right at the 39.50, and the market will want to tend to come back to those levels, right? Think about these levels as like a magnet on the market. If you have the 200 SMA, a previous demand, and an uptrend, right, the market's going to potentially attempt to come back and retest that level, and that is exactly what we got. So that was a really nice read from us on the on the live stream from Tuesday of last week. So we got that 39.50 pullback, 200 SMA right there, held that 200 SMA pretty damn nicely, and now we have to see what's the short-term levels. So let's go ahead and zoom in here to the 30-minute chart, and here are some short-term levels that I am watching. So actually, you know what? Yeah, 30-minute. There we go. So here are some short-term levels. You can clearly see this was the 200. This is the long-term uptrend, multi-month uptrend, and this was the demand. So 39.50 held pretty damn well, right? You can see right there. You can see that very, very strong 200 SMA hold from Friday of last week. Now, if we zoom into some shorter term price action, the ES is trading right back into this previous Wednesday's lows and that 4,000 psychological level. Pretty much the same as the NASDAQ, right? Back into Wednesday's lows, back into the 4,000 psych level. We really don't want to be long trying to trade long through 4,000. So we probably want to wait to see, does 4,000 turn into a new support level today, right? Can we get 4,000 to turn into support today? That's something that I would definitely be waiting for, asking yourself intraday, is 4,000 holding? Are we trading above or below 4,000? That is something that I would be very focused on to set up your intraday trades. So if we can see 4,000 turn into some type of a short-term demand, there's possibility, in my opinion, for us to trade back into this supply around 40.25. All right, you can see all last week, we could not get above 40.25. So if you do get a short-term 4,000 hold, yes, you might be able to get that move into 40.25 for another upside move, for a continuation of this bounce. But you better be careful, right? You better be careful getting greedy around this zone. If you get too greedy holding longs into this zone up here, it could be ugly for you, because the market has showed you, look at how tough this area has been on the ES, right? It's no joke right there. Look at Wednesday rejections, Thursday rejections, and Friday we sold off from it. So if we do get that push, right, do not marry a long entry in this zone, because this could clearly reject just like it did all last week. All right? So make sure not to marry anything up into this 40.25. That is very key up here. You can clearly see the rejections that took place. The real comfortable long, right, to actually see a real upside move for any type of confidence, in my opinion, would be, a really nice hold above this previous week's highs, and then maybe we get that push back into 40.60. This is where I'd feel more confident. All right, if you can actually turn this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday high here into a support, then I would look for that upside move. Paul, you gotta put the video quality up to 1080 on your screen. It's nothing on my end, and if it's on my end, then I apologize. So highs, right? You can see if we get that move up to 40.25, you would want to see it hold above that to have any type of real confidence. Okay. So that's the levels today: 4,000, 40.25. Some pretty major potential rejection points to watch out for. So just watch out for those. The only thing that keeps me maybe a little bit more bullish is that we could see a little bit of an extended bounce off the 200 SMA, right? The 200 SMA is possibly the level that you want to, you don't want to get too bearish shorting off of a 200 SMA, right? You have to, I don't know how to put this correctly, but you have to think a little bit longer term, right? Yes, in the short term, these levels are important. These are short-term levels, though, right? And they can be broken. So if you go out to the 4 hour, if you go out to the daily chart, right, and you sort of ignore some of these short-term levels, which we don't want to ignore for our intraday trading, but we do want to focus on them. If we ignore some of these short-term levels, let's just forget that those are there. These two right here. You know what? I'll just delete them and I'll redo it for myself, even though I really don't want to. But I will redo it for myself. If we zoom out to this 4 hour chart, right, some of these short-term levels can definitely reject, right? The ones that we just talked about, 4,000, 4,025. But when we zoom out to the 4 hour, this 200 SMA, I think, will likely be defended longer than just one day, right? If we do get I could see this market trying to trade back into this 40.60. This is sort of my week-long analysis, my week-long idea that I talked about with the Discord on Friday. I think you probably see a 200 SMA hold. I think that holds pretty strong probably this week. And you maybe get that move back into this triple top. That's sort of my If I had to predict what you see this week, I think you probably trade within 40.60 and 39.50 for the entire week. And you pretty much do something like this, right? You guys see this price action over here? This is back in November and December, right? This is sort of the idea, thinking that the market is probably just going to trade within this zone this week, between this 39.50 and 40.60. I think that's our zone to be really focused on for the entire week, right? So previous highs here, I'm assuming you can probably see something of legitimate strength off the 200. But again, that's why I point out those short-term levels, because we'll have to see how the short-term levels do react. So that's what I'd watch today, guys. Those are the levels I'm watching. Here's the longer-term look, 200 SMA. I think there's very, very much possibility that we retest this previous high right around this 40.60. That's something I'll be looking for. But of course, like I just talked about on the shorter term, I will be watching some of the short-term levels just to make sure, right, I am not blind to some short-term rejection possibilities. So 4,000 and this 4,025 zone are obviously going to be levels that I watch out for. All right. So that's my read right now on the market. If I go to the SPY, I'll go ahead and do those pretty much the same thing. You guys can see right here. Right here, it's pretty much the same stuff, right? 396. That's that low that we were talking about, that Friday high, the Wednesday, Thursday low. The high here up around 401, right? That's that 40.25 level. I'll go ahead and turn that red. So this 40.25 over here on the ES is the exact same thing as 401. You guys can clearly see the levels are the exact same, right? 401, 401, 401, 401. You go to the ES. You just use your imagination. You can see it's the same levels, right? Rejection, rejection, rejection. 40.25. So that's that on the SPY. And if we zoom out to the 4-hour chart, right? Where's the previous triple top? It's up here around this 403.50, right? So if we ignore these levels here, you can see we went to the uptrend, we went to the demand, we went to the 200 SMA, and where's that 40.60 level that I was talking about? I think it's up here. It's right around this 403.50, 404. It's this top, it's this top, it's this top. You can see 403.50. That is the same as 40.60 on the ES. So the chart's the exact same, guys. You can find the levels by just looking at my ES analysis. Just look at where they are in relation to the ES. So 40.60, 403.50. All right. Dow Jones, Mike Jones. 4-hour chart. Yeah, look at that. Excuse me. Look at that chart on the Dow. Pretty interesting hold coming in on the Dow. You can see right there. That is your previous major demand on the Dow. Previous high, previous low, previous low. You're holding it again. That's that 32,750 level on the Dow Jones. You guys can see right there. That hold is pretty important. So watch out for that. And then you just sort of do the same thing, right? You just watch out for the highs from last week, which is right around here, this 33,250. Very clean, right? 33,250 rejections on Wednesday, on Thursday. You're obviously going to need a push above that for more upside. And then you're watching these lows around 33,550, right? 33.5 right here. So you got your big demand here on the 4-hour on the Dow around this 32,750, 33,250 Wednesday, Thursday highs, and then the previous lows up here around 33,550. All right. Russell, 4-hour chart. You guys can see we talked about this zone, this 1880 to 1900 zone. That is this previous, pretty much all of this zone is a demand, right? You can see if we go out on the 4-hour chart, you can see right here, previous highs, previous highs, previous highs, all this consolidation, and we are trading back within that consolidation zone. So you could probably see the Russell do exactly what it did here again this week, right? 1910 to 1885. I would just watch that previous low right here. That looks like it's going to be the major level on the hourly chart. You can see right here, this previous low from Friday of 2 weeks ago. You see that right there, that 1910 low. That turned into a rejection last week, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 1910, rejection, previous lows into rejections. So clearly, to be bullish on the Russell, what do you need? You need this market to push back above this 1910, and you need to get that to turn into a new support. That's the only way this market moves higher. If you can turn this low back into a support level and not be at a rejection point. So if the Russell stays below 1910, there's no reason to be bullish, right? That's a previous low turning into rejections. If you see that again today, right, very clearly a rejection point. If you see this happen again today, still a very clear rejection point at 1910. So watch out on the Russell there, all right? All right, so that's the futures levels. We'll go over them again at the end of the stream just to get another clear read on them, but let's continue. So Tesla. Yeah, Tesla very clearly holding this entire green zone. I mean, I've seen it before, but this is a very interesting price action on Tesla lately. These 4-hour wicks are really telling to me, right? You can clearly see on the 4-hour wicks that they just Tesla just keeps getting bought up in this zone. Anywhere between 190 and 197, these 4-hour wicks just keep getting bought up. And it's been very resilient in this 197 area. So you can see here on the 5-minute chart, Friday, even as the market was pretty much tanking, pretty much, really aggressive downside, Tesla just held up in this zone all day Friday. It just continued to maintain, and we are back above that 197 level. So Tesla's pretty resilient here lately. I would keep an eye on just some of these short-term highs. That's really what I would do. So Tesla has been in a downtrend, right? It's been making lower lows, but it stopped making it's been making lower highs, but it did not make a lower low on Friday. So you can see here, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. This is not a lower low, right? So this is interesting, right? If this starts to find some strength off this level, if the market does find a little bit of a bounce this week back into like that 40-60 on the ES, Tesla might try to find a little juice here, right? Tesla's been very resilient in this zone. I would just watch out for this 204, right? That's the first level I'd watch, 204. That would be a first rejection possibility. And then if you get above 204, I think you're looking at 210, right? So 204, 210, those are the levels I'd watch. Yeah, you could call that a little bit of a bull flag, definitely, right? It's a little bit of a flag back into the demand. It's very possible. But I would be more focused on 204 and 210, right? If you can get a move over 204, I would look for that hold and then look for that next move in the 210. So that's my major watch today. 204 on Tesla. Can we get above this little previous high? This is from Thursday of last week. If we can hold above Thursday's highs, then I'd look for that move into 210. All right, so that's Tesla. NVIDIA, it's pretty much as clean as it gets. Pretty much as clean as you could ask for it. We talked about this on the stream last week, right? On Thursday after earnings, we said wait until NVIDIA pulls back to 230. Wait for the retest, right? The retest always happens. If you bought at the highs because you wanted to chase NVIDIA post-earnings, well, you're down, all right? It's going to happen every time. If you chase stocks after their earnings, if you think they're just going to rip all day, it's probably not going to happen. So if you waited, if you stayed patient, waited for your best opportunity, it was at the 230 retest. Perfect retest. Previous double top high at 230, you pull right back down to it, you hold it as demand, and you can see the push that we're getting off of it. This is the definition of a break and retest. The definition. Previous double top high, break, retest, long off 230, upside, right? Now, that doesn't mean we're just going to go to the moon now. You have to still manage your trade, but clearly going long at the retest was the best possible entry. If we go to the 5-minute chart, we can see, look what 230 did pretty much all day on Friday. You can see right here, extremely strong 230 demand all day Friday, like until 11 o'clock. We pulled back. We just held here all day, pretty much all morning on Friday. Eventually got that squeeze off of it. Had a little trouble here around this 234, 235 area. You can clearly see that on Friday. Couldn't get above that zone. But that is now your pullback zone, right? So that is now your pullback zone today for another potential long. If you get a pullback on NVIDIA this 234, is this a buying opportunity to bounce off previous day highs, right? Previous high, previous high, previous high. If NVIDIA can pull back to that 234, is this your buying opportunity today for a bounce off the previous day highs? That's something I'll definitely be watching to see if I can go long off that previous day high. And then obviously I will be watching 238, right? Very clear rejection point. You're not going to go long if NVIDIA pushes early morning today and you freak out because you're scared to lose, you're scared to miss out, and you go long right here, that's going to happen to you. I can guarantee it. I'll guarantee that because there's no downside of me guaranteeing that, right? Because if I guarantee it and it happens, then I look great because I just saved you from taking a really stupid trade. If I guarantee it and it doesn't happen and it goes straight up, then I'm sure a lot of people will make some money because they chased calls there, right? So I'm okay to, I'll take it back. I can't guarantee anything. This is not financial advice. I'll never guarantee anything on the live streams, but I think it's the safest thing to not be long at 238. Let me put it that way. So we'll rewind the video. We'll cut out the part where I guarantee something, and we'll say, do not go long at 238. If you're up here at 238 at market open, if NVIDIA skyrockets to the upside and you start longing it at the Thursday and Friday high, you're probably going to lose money today. What I would look for is a legitimate break and hold above these highs, all right? That's the way you look long if this thing just rockets higher. A break above, a hold above, consolidation above 238, 239, and then you could look to see if it continues higher. That or this, right? Or a pullback to 234, all right? So that's what I'd be watching on NVIDIA today. Please do not long it at Thursday's highs. Netflix. So this is an opportunity, I think, on Netflix. I like this. I'm really interested in going long in Netflix. And here's why. So Netflix obviously has been a strong name. It's needed a pullback, and it's finally got it, right? We finally got the pullback on Netflix. Netflix has pulled back to a pretty multi-month uptrend, right? You can see this is back in October, previous earnings. We had this uptrend that started. We pushed higher, we pulled back, we held it right here, right? Right there, right there. And you can see, as of today, we pulled back right to that uptrend, right? You can see right here, 313. Now, this uptrend, you know what? Is this an SMA? Let's see. Is this the 100? No, it's no SMA. All right. So we pulled back to that 313, 314. This is that uptrend support. Also, right, this is a previous low here. This is a previous high here. So I am interested to see if this area turns into a short-term demand after a very aggressive pullback. So you have previous highs, previous lows, uptrend, right? And this demand zone here around this 313, 314. If we go to the 5-minute chart, what else do we see? We see the willingness to hold on to this level from both Thursday and Friday, right? You have now, I would say, created some type of a confirmation that this level is some type of confirmation that this level wants to attempt a hold, a short-term hold. It's at this point where you can at least formulate a long entry, and if you're wrong, you know where to stop out, right? And that is what trading is all about. You formulate a plan, you get a trade plan, you stick to it. If you're wrong, you learn from it and you lose, and that's all you can do. So if you do long Netflix and it does break under these lows, you stop out under these lows, right? Under this 314 level, and you move on, right? You can't get upset about that. It's I think a pretty nice trade idea, right? You got your pullback to the uptrend, you got your pullback to previous demand, right? If the market is strong today, if you get market, if the market accepts potential upside, then I like that level. So that's definitely something I'll be watching today. It looks like Netflix might move by itself already with the market here before the market opens, but definitely watching this 314 level as a potential demand for upside after a pretty aggressive downside move from last week. Nvidia's already going. Yeah, I mean, market just ripped through 4,000. Look at that. So now you're going to see, right? Do we get the pullback to 4,000? Does 4,000 turn into a solid support? This is when people start getting antsy. Oh my God, I'm going to miss it. Let me go long. Hurry up. Let me go long before the pullback. I need to go long now, right? Let's wait, right? Now we look to see does 4,000 turn into demand. That's the key now, right? Intraday today, you'd want to see a pullback, right? And see, do we get this to start to happen, right? Do we start to see some consolidation here? And if we do, we could set up that long, right? So that's what I would look for. Yes, we're getting a nice push. That's our step one, all right? Step one, breakout. Step two, let's look for that pullback and that retest, all right? Yeah, so we're over 12.1, right? So you're back in this zone. All right. So that was Nvidia. That was Tesla. That was Netflix. Let's go Meta. I think this is an interesting one. I think Meta is going to show some opportunity here soon. Meta has been a very weird. It's been a very weird. What do we get? Some news at 8:30. It's been a very weird pullback. So you can see here the volume has been very light, right? Volume is slowly declining. You can't see that. Hold on. So you can see right here, this pullback, this volume has been dying off every single day, right? The strength of the pullback is dying. The volume is declining. And it's coming back right into this previous high, this channel high. It's still holding that channel high. I know I've shown this all before, but this zone up here, this channel high, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times that this channel high rejected, this might be, right, a little pullback and short-term push off that level. So if the market is strong today, right, that's a big if. That's what you have to see for, right? That is, if we get that market strength, that is definitely an interesting zone to be watching today. You can see this is Friday of last week. This is Tuesday of last week. This is Wednesday of last week. Thursday of last week. On Friday of last week, we got it below, but we got back above it by end of day. And you can see here in the pre-market, we are trading back above 170. So in terms of risk reward, right, I see it, right? I see it. In regards to risk reward, I see it. It has been very weak, right? It has been very weak on the upside, so you have to take that into consideration. But if there's any change, right, if there's any switch up here, if Meta does find some bullish action, you have a nice risk reward here. So I'm interested. I am interested in both sides too, though, right? If we get that flush under 170, I'll keep an eye for this as well, right? I'll keep an eye on both sides. But as of right now, that 170 level is definitely interesting on Meta, something I would be paying attention to today. All right, Amazon 93. You guys can clearly see this is like the major level on Amazon. It's like here or never, basically, for Amazon. You guys can see we had a previous low, low, and low, right? Triple bottom. And we are attempting to hold that 93 right now. You can see right there, triple bottom, 93. Amazon has to hold that 93. If we lose this 93, Amazon can definitely see some aggressive downside here. There's not much support down here under 93. If we hold that 93 and we just trade back, I would say we trade back within this channel that we already have been trading within. So if you can catch something nice off 93, I think you can see that push back into this 98 channel high. And then you have to be careful up here, right? It's clearly like a head and shoulder formation. You can clearly see this rejections up here at 98. This is a short-term long opportunity. This is not something you marry, right? If you can go long off 93, previous triple bottom demand, if you can get that pushback in the 98, you take your profits up here, you walk away, you accept it was a really nice trade. But you do not marry this because this could easily do this, make a lower high, and then new lows, right? So 93, 98.50. Yeah, we'll look at the ES again since it's moving. XLE, I am still very much bullish on the energy sector here. Here's why. I think the 200 SMA is going to attempt to hold. That's why I'm long XOM. I think, this is a very strong demand zone on XLE. And on top of that, it's coupled with the 200 SMA. Every time the XLE is pulled back to the 200 SMA in the past, it has put in a nice upside move. And I'm just going to continue to trust that. All right. Where else? That, this is what it's all about, right? This is trading, right? You look back at these things and you say, why didn't I go long there? Like, what stops me from going long at that level? It's my fear of losing money. It's my, I'm scared. I don't know. I don't have confidence, right? That's the reason you don't enter. But if you look at the XLE, every single time it's hit the 200 SMA since August of 2021, right? 200 SMA, bounce, 200 SMA, bounce, 200 SMA, bounce, 200 SMA, bounce, 200 SMA, close to it, under it. If you get it above it, bounce, right? So I'm doing it, right? I don't care. If I lose and this is not what happens, then so be it. I'll lose some money. I'll take my L. But if there's anything that I've learned at the 200 SMA on XLE, it's that it bounces off of it. So you're there again. Would you rather long here or, right? Most people will ask me, right? This is where people will ask me to go long XLE. We'll be up here on XLE, right? And they'll say, should I long XLE right here at 94, right? No, that is your supply. You do not long it at the supply. But why do you ask, right? Why do some traders ask to go long up here at 94? It's because now they're comfortable. Now they're like, oh, look at this. XLE's going higher. Now I'm going to go long, right? This is where you have to go long. This is where you have to take the risk-reward play. Yeah, of course, past doesn't guarantee future, Joe, but this is risk-reward. If you lose here, then you lose less, right? This is where your risk-reward is good. If you lose here, right, you could lose a lot more. So, of course, past does not guarantee future. That's totally true. But you are looking for risk reward in this market. And if there's ever risk reward, I think it's here at 83, 200 SMA. Could be wrong, right? Don't take everything I say here as a total definite. But that's sort of a good mindset behind like these swing trades and taking them for risk reward versus, looking to long something when it's already at supply. I like it. I'm in it. We'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. What's up, Carmine? Scared money don't make money. I'm going to set up a bed here for Carmine when he visits. We'll put a nice air mattress for him. Or maybe he'll sleep on the... no, I can't. He's not... I would never do that. I can't... He won't kick me out of my bed. He'll set up the air mattress over here. Kick him into the office. He can trade for me maybe when I'm not here. Probably make more money than me. So Carmine's going to trade for my account. What's up, man? Moving to Cape Coral. Nice. Have I been there? I've been to Cape Coral, yeah. Yeah, not much. It's a little far away. But yeah, it's not bad over there. Nice. I mean, it's probably better than, right? Florida's Florida. Next week. All right. So that's XLE. XOM. The reason I took XOM is you know what? I really don't know why I took XOM versus XLE. I could have just traded the indice or the ETF. I'm sorry, but I like the XOM here at the 100. You guys can see right here. This is why I took XOM right here at the 100 SMA and that 109 level. This is the previous demand. So I would want to see, right? I want to see that same, if the XLE pushes off the 200, I'm looking for XOM to push off this 100 SMA, right? So same concept there. All right. So hopefully you guys sort of get, that's a little bit of a lesson on like risk reward, right? You don't feel comfortable, but your risk reward's there. So that's probably your best place to either go long, wherever your risk reward is, right? It's not, the best risk reward spots are never going to be the most comfy, right? You're not going to feel the most comfortable with your trades at good risk reward setups. Usually bad risk reward setups is where like your emotions feel right, because that's after the move has already happened. You're looking for a continuation. You're looking to chase it. Your emotions usually feel the best at those points, but we have to flip that mindset. We have to try to long at pullback entry points at demand and short at these supply levels. Right? It's that whole market psychology thing that comes in there. All right, last one I got for you is Microsoft. Very similar, actually very similar to the XLE sort of mindset here, right? So here's Microsoft, and you can see right here, previous high, previous high, previous high, previous high, previous high, previous high, right? How many times has Microsoft had a previous high here at 248, 250? Multiple times. You can see it right there. So where have we pulled back to? Right? We have pulled back right to that 248, 250 demand. It was a previous supply. We traded above it. We've retested it. We're acting now as a demand level at that 248, 250 very clearly. So I am interested to see, right, today, does Microsoft put in some bounce, do we see support step in at this previous major supply level? And you can see this morning, right, we're starting to see that. And if you see from Friday, look at that defense of the 248, 249 level on Microsoft, right? You moved right back into it. You had a very strong demand step up of that 248, 249, and you can start to see the push that we're getting here. So interesting one, right? You can see this might be a good risk reward. Now, of course, we'll have to see how the market continues. We have to see some strength on the market to really follow through. But this is an interesting level to monitor today. Previous major supply, we pulled back to it, holding it as a short-term demand. Do we get some upside? The only thing I would be cautious of, right? The only thing I would be cautious of is up here, right? Previous lows, previous major supply from both Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of last week. So don't marry this long, right? If you can get this long up to like 255, 256, don't marry it up here because this is possibly a major rejection point. But that 248, 250 level is not somewhere I would short into, right? Because that was that previous major supply that has now turned into somewhat of a short-term demand zone. So keep an eye on that, 255, 248, 250. Microsoft, interesting one there. I would pay attention to that. Yeah, let's go over the NASDAQ and ES again because I think I think it warrants a new look after this big push. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, you already know, right, this is turning into a green zone for me now because this is now we have to see does these Wednesday's lows, does this turn into a new support level today? That's really what's important now. If we go here, right, you have all these previous lows, all this consolidation, this congestion. I don't like to make these zones this big, but I could really even see, like, I could warrant putting this entire zone as a area that I wouldn't want to short into. Anywhere from like this 12,100 to these lows from Wednesday, Thursday, really don't see the reason to short into. Definitely not Wednesday, Thursday's lows, right? We're not going to be shorting into the lows from Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, at least I wouldn't, right? But yeah, this whole area here, 12.1, 12.30, this whole 70-point range, tough because you can see. Look at all the bounces that have happened in this area previously. You can see right here, bounce, right? Demand stepped up, demand stepped up, demand stepped up here. You can see we're holding in this zone and we're now trading above it. So if we maintain this 12,100, 1230 zone and the market is still pushing higher here, it looks like you're probably trading back into this supply right today. You're already getting it. You're probably trading back into this supply here, 12,200, 12,250. All right, previous lows here, previous highs here. This is likely where the market will trade into today, right? This 12,200, 12,250 supply. And then we'll have to see what happens there. I would not chase this morning's upside. If we open the market right here, if we open the market like right here today, let's say the bell rings and the market is trading at 12,200 and you just press the call button right at open, right? You are exposing yourself to a major bull trap back into this maybe 12,100, 1230 level, right? You do not go long into this, right? So please be careful of that. Do not let this upside pre-market make you do anything foolish in regards to risk to reward, right? Because risk to reward is no longer as sexy to the upside now because we are trading back into this previous low, right? Previous low, previous high. You're trading back into there. So be careful up here, 12,200, 12,250. If you can get something like this, if you can turn, right, Thursday's highs into a new demand today, that could be your nice upside play. That could be where things really get some nice continuation. If you can see this Thursday high turn into a demand, that's what I would look for today for a real long entry outside of this channel. All right. On the ES, it's going to be all about this. It's the same shit, right? 40-25, 40-30 area here. You can clearly see it. We have to get above these highs. You do not want to long into the area that the market rejected multiple times last week. So are you going too long into this supply? No, right? We have to wait for it to get above. You can see right here, rejections, rejections, rejections. If you want to play it safe, you can move this up to like this 40-35 area because that's really where that wick rejection was up here. So you probably want to be above that level as well. Most of the rejections came in around this 40-25, 40-30 area. But if you want to move your level up to that wick high, I don't see anything wrong with that. That's around 40-34. All right. So we don't want to long into that. Right. We're not going to long into Wednesdays, Thursdays rejections. If we get above that, right, if we get above that, high from last week, then I think my original thought process is very possible. A move back into 40-60. All right. I think that's very possible that we move up and we retest this 40-60. The previous lows from last week, and then we'll have to see what happens up here. Previous low, previous low. I think it's very possible we could see that move. Maybe not today, but if this market does maintain the 200 SMA down below, I think that is possible to see. All right, I'm going to skip your tickers today because it's time to go. So we got about 1,500 people in here. If you guys could press the like button, that would be fantastic. Make sure to watch these levels today, guys. Again, the market has been trading very clearly between some major levels. So these levels have worked like a charm. They worked like a charm all last week. Put them on your charts. Trust them. Don't long into supply. Don't short into demand, right? We've clearly seen what happens if you do that. Last week was a great example of that. If you tried the short breakdowns, you lost. If you tried the trade breakouts, you lost, right? So continue to trust these levels. Continue to trade off of them. Keep a level head as you approach every day. Don't let this pre-market upside make you think that you have to buy calls today. Just come into the day every day with every possibility laid out, every zone laid out, and trade off of it. Unbiased, right? That's the key. All right? Have a great day. Press the like button if you could. We'll try to get to 1,000 likes again. It's tough, right? Those likes, they're hard to get these days. Those likes are hard to get these days. Press the like button, subscribe to the channel. Have a fantastic trading day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Yeah. Peace out.